even though it may be in your personality, like you may be very literal, and if I say I don't need help or you ask me and I say no, I don't need help, just surprise me every now and again. Surprise your significant other every now and again and say, I know you say you don't need help, but let me take this off of your plate.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dads on Purpose, the podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ashford, and as always, man, I got the big homie KB. How you doing, bro?
What up, baby? It's always good to be here on Dads on Purpose podcast. And look who we got.
Yo.
That was a lot.
Here's the thing. Kev doesn't see the numbers, so he doesn't realize that like 97% of our audience are podcast listeners. Like we got the YouTube, but that's not what drives the traffic. So you're talking about, look what we got. They can't see us.
But when we introduce them, they'll be like, oh, that's who's there.
Oh my goodness. Yo, we have the ladies that hold down our houses, that keep it running, that put in the grocery orders, that carry our children. We got our wives on the show, y'all. This is my beautiful bride, Erica Shannon Ashford. That's all you got?
What?
Y'all see how this episode's gonna go, right? So here's the thing. Kev, go ahead, introduce your bride. Then
What up, family? You know we always got the beautiful Miss Dalena Brigance, the head of the Brigance household, holding it down for 13 years.
Yo, Kevin gonna get kicked out. I'm laughing because like Kevin and I both have big personalities, and both of our wives are reserved. Is that a good word? Is that a good word? Yeah. Okay. And so it wasn't easy to get them on here, but they're here, and so we good. And I'm drinking wine. And
this was my idea, by the way.
Let's start this party off right.
What?
Yes.
Whose idea was it?
I know what we're going to talk about this week, and I said, why not the wives? Just pointing that out.
So
there's my life in a nutshell.
We see who's really the brain
behind
the operation.
Listen, Kev, what you drinking, man? Because we over here drinking 19 Crimes. Shout out to Snoop Dogg, the big homie. I don't know him, but what's up? Kev, I thought you were drinking.
Aqua.
Oh.
Aqua.
Okay, we gotta put our wine away. We gotta put our wine away. Look, Dalena, Kev and I talked about this, and I was like, okay, we gotta make sure we're drinking wine with the wives. You know what I'm saying? We gotta classy it up. You know what I'm saying? I got the nice glasses out. These are $10 boys. No, these aren't the nice glasses.
No, but they're glasses.
But the nice glasses, those are $90.
Because sometimes, for real, it'll be like a plastic cup.
So you spruced it up tonight.
Anyway, so what are we talking about? I want to talk about. Oh, I almost said it.
I'm just saying in general.
I almost said I want to talk about sex.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. That's not what I want to. That's not what I want to talk about. I was singing that song.
All the good things.
Yo, but no. So I really do like I'm big on teaching, like on this podcast, because I mean, yeah, we like to have fun or whatever, but I'm big on like actually helping people. And so I think what's dope is like having you guys here, like help me, like nigga, like
I try.
Like what are we gonna do this? And I'm gonna let y'all think about it. Y'all can ping pong back and forth. But like, what are some things that like you need your husband to do? Like not just you, but like women in general. And you can't think for a long time because it's a podcast. Because if you don't feel the air, me and Kev gonna feel the air. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to give y'all time to think.
So, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind was the conversation that we had tonight about being present. And that means like watch your cell phone usage, right? Because I'm getting there. Let me talk. We, in general, as people, are so used to just picking up our phone and doing whatever we want to do for however long we want to do it, and we're not engaged in the situation. So he got a phone call during dinner tonight. Jocelyn, the 2-year-old, is sitting there like going crazy about something. And, the baby's just sitting there eating her grapes and she's happy. But I was struggling to get whatever else prepared, and Jocelyn's still going crazy. He's on the phone. I'm like, can you wrap this up and get off the phone, please? Be present, help me out here. And I think it also, that's happened a couple times this week where I felt that and I didn't voice it. And so it just kind of came out tonight. And then he was like, well, you sit there on your phone sometimes on Facebook or whatever it is you're doing, and we're supposed to be hanging out, having family time. And I was like, yeah, we both do it. It happens. Please call me out. It might not have come out that nice, but that was what happened tonight.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. But we both need to work on it, right?
So, and then she got mad at me. She was like, what did you say? You were like, oh, God, I had it. And I was trying to listen to you and not think about what I was going to say. I was trying to be present in the moment. So I done forgot all of them.
I think being present sometimes can catch us off guard as parents, because even though in that situation we're saying, okay, I see the 2 girls and he's on the phone, or I'm busy and I should be aware of what's going on, but doesn't necessarily mean that I'm 100% aware. I get in trouble all the time about
in general
being present, but I think that sometimes my getting caught off guard is I'm not thinking about what the current atmosphere is. I'm not thinking, or I'm not aware of, hey, you need to be on the phone, or you have something that you need to get done. So let me step in and take care of Kendall. Does it make sense? I think a lot of it is, all right, I'm already in my space. And so for me, about being present, what I've tried to do is make sure that I'm working my mindset to be present before I enter the house, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make sure whatever phone call that I need to take, I could take it before I come in, and so that I can kind of check the temperature of the room and connect and engage. I think it's a little bit different now because our child is 12.
13.
Hey man, when the new year kicks in, it's already, hey, everybody's birthday didn't happen. You the new age. But being 12 is a little bit different, because not necessarily being present to take care of her, but being present to engage with her, I think is the difference. So for us, it's like, okay, you're home, but am I home to be present? Am I home to follow up with the homework? Am I home to follow up? Because that was my biggest thing. My biggest thing was, man, hey, you good? You hungry? You need anything? But schoolwork, all right, you got it.
But, so here's the thing, Kev. This wasn't your question to answer.
Oh, my bad.
But that was good info. But yeah, Dalena.
I'm going to have to agree with what he said.
I feel like there's a but.
But okay, so your question was, what do we need, right?
Yes. And remember, this is only a 45 to an hour long podcast.
So I'll go with my top one,
which
goes along with what we're already talking about, which is I need you to read the room. I need you to know that I need your help without me having to come out and say, I need your help at this moment. Like if I'm trying to cook dinner and I'm trying to help with homework and I have my own work to do and I might have a meeting that I need to get on, and you come home and you're sitting on the couch, I need you to read the room and say, let me take something off your plate, because it's overwhelming when those are the things that, as a wife, those are just things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I'm going to cook dinner, or you know that I'm going to do the laundry. You know that I'm going to come home and be thorough about asking the kid about her homework and checking to make sure she actually did it. And I still got my own stuff to do. So,
yeah, but here's my thing. Like, is that so? Obviously, we're different people. We're going to parent a little different, but I think the end goal should always be the same. And so, should our tactic be the same as well? Like, should we? You know what I'm saying? Like, should KB, should he come in and grill Kendall about her homework and check it? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it depends on the kid. If we are both aware that we have a child that needs that, then I think yes. If we've identified, okay, our child is not going to always be forthcoming about what she needs to have done and what she has not done. And if we know, okay, she's going to say she got it done, but she's not going to go back and make sure she got everything done. And I'm saying, when you check homework, I need you to actually go in and check homework. And we've agreed on that.
I'm laughing because Kev's sitting here shaking his head. Kev's shaking his head like, "What? Defend yourself, man."
But it's not necessarily defending myself, because I often say that even in a marriage, you're co-parenting, and so even though we're married, there are certain things that's important to her that might not be highly important on my list, if that makes sense. And so what I really do, I don't try to be, I don't try to do it on purpose, if that makes sense. It's not like my intent is to come in and just blatantly not do the role or do the things that she's asking us or that she's asking me to do for help. It's just that my co-parenting or my parenting style is a little bit different. I'm more, and we've talked about this before, I'm more of the social emotional person. I'm more about, making sure that, she's good on other ends. Yeah. And it's just that for me, you're supposed to get your work done because that's what you're supposed to do. And if you ain't do what you were supposed to do, you're gonna get an F.
Well, how do we, I mean, you can answer this too, but like, how do we adapt to that? Because, so here's my thing. I've known, Kev, how long I've known you? Like 6 months, 8 months?
It seems like forever, so it don't really
yeah, right? but I already know, because we talked about this, like Kev is a high I. Like, he is a high personal person. Like, don't give him like detailed tasks because he ain't gonna get it right. And I see this in Kev's posts on Instagram. Kev, his words be misspelled. He put the wrong things. Sometimes he put the wrong episode and wrong name under people's titles. Because he doesn't review it. He like, oh, that looks good. Cool, let's post it.
Send it out.
And so I know that's Kev. And so I'm like, okay, do I say something or do I just like let it go because it's not that big of a deal? Typically, I'll just let it go, except for when like, because now we're doing the Dads on Purpose virtual meetup. Well, that's Kev and DJ, and they had a flyer and it was not consistent with the brand. Let's just put it that way. So we had a talk, and that got fixed. But like, is it just a talk that gets it changed, or like what? How do you get that changed if it's that person? You feel me?
I think it's awareness, right? Like, you do have to talk about it, but there has to be action behind that conversation, because otherwise it's just words that mean nothing. Right. And so if we're both aware of our strengths and our weaknesses, like, let's help each other out. So
I don't have no weaknesses.
Oh, none. So if we have a conversation and put a plan into place, I'm very much like, if this is the plan, we're doing it and we're sticking to it. Mm-hmm. And we gotta go with it for a while, like sleep training. He's like, let's just get her out the bed.
No, that's not what happened.
That was the very brief scenario of it. But I'm just like, we have to stick with this and go with it. He's a little bit more lenient on it. It sounds like the homework kind of thing.
I didn't know we were sleep training. I thought she just wanted her to sleep because you wanted to sleep some little longer. Because she was waking up at 5:30. I was like, that's what time she wake up. That's the same thing that our first kid was doing. That's what time she woke up. And you just like to sleep a little later. So I just figured you was like, oh, she need to sleep later because I need to get some more sleep. And I thought she was just being sleepy. So I was like, yo, I'm going to just wake up at 5:30. That's what time I'm up. Let me go get this baby so we can go in the living room. I'm up. We up. Nobody told me we were sleep training.
Sound like a communication breakdown.
Right. Like, we got to talk about it. And yeah, that's on me too, because I didn't fully communicate that. Yeah. But you got to talk about things, get a plan, and then do them.
Yeah. And I think it's, we do very well with a lot of things, right? So, especially like when we break up chores in the house, like, dude, that's her chore. If she wants to take that on, I don't press her. I'm not walking around the house like, why the laundry ain't done? Why the laundry ain't folded? Why the laundry ain't put away? Like, that's just her chore. That's something that, she feels that she wants to do for the house and that she's good at. And that's kind of.
Are you talking about Kendall or Dalena? Oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about Kendall.
I thought you was talking about Kendall, and he was like, that's her chore that she want to do. I was like, oh.
Okay. But you have things around the house that needs to be done. Like, I take out the trash. Literally, the trash will be full until I take out the trash and take it down.
Do you put a bag back in there?
No.
Because I
do.
Like, 8 out of 10 times, I don't remember to put the bag in there.
He doesn't either.
But I took the trash out.
It's a man thing.
Hey,
is it?
Halfway.
Okay.
Halfway.
Well, my daddy got a good habit of just using the trash bag on the drawer and then just calling it a day.
Your daddy?
Either.
See, that's why we're not in Houston.
I don't think I know what that means. What do you mean, a trash bag on the drawer? Like, hang it on there?
Yeah, like if you got a party and you got a big trash. You remember like frat parties?
Yeah. Just hang it on there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Oh, no, Dalena, I want to know, because we got time today. Because I thought we wasn't going to have time, but we got time today.
Okay.
We got time. What's your second one? You said that was your first one was like being like, I need you to read the room. I want to know what the second one is, because I'm engaged. I'm listening. I'm not going to go back and listen to this, but I'm in this conversation, so this is good for me.
I think communication is important. Like being able to fully communicate how you're feeling in a moment, when something happens, being able to deal with conflict. That he can't. He is.
How do you deal with conflict when you know what the reaction is going to be like?
That's a very good question. He just doesn't react to it. He doesn't.
What I'm saying is, if there's conflict, and I know how you're going to respond, and it's not going to be beneficial, why am I going to bring it up?
How do you know it's not beneficial if we never get to have the conversation?
So here's the thing. So today, we'll take this example tonight. She said something to me about the phone. And I was like, well, you are literally always on your phone when we just chilling in the living room with the kids. I was like, you're not being present. And so she was like, well, that's different. She's like, we're at dinner and da-da-da-da-da. And, like, we're just hanging out when I'm on my phone and you do it too. And I'm like, okay, I see where this conversation is going. There's no need for us to have this conversation because it's not going anywhere. So I just left it alone. I was just like, I'm just like, okay, I didn't even say it. I was like, you're right. Okay. And she's like, well, thanks. This is a great conversation. And I'm like, I know it's not going anywhere.
It could though, but you're not engaging. You have to engage in the conversation and in the plan. Otherwise, it's just me telling you what I think needs to be done, right?
I know I'm right, and you're not willing to say that I'm right. Why am I going to keep having this conversation? No, you didn't. You said I was wrong. You was like, you do it too.
You do.
What's the purpose of bringing that up, even if I do it?
So we can both get away from doing it.
I'm not. Anyways.
Welcome to marriage counseling.
I think what Erica said was, it's like, what action are you going to put towards it? So for us, we, having a preteen, going to the restaurant, having the phones at dinner, we've all become more aware of putting the phone down. Like, there has to be the action to go with it. So now that we talked about it, it's relevant. We deal with it. Like, okay, so what times do we not have to do this action so that we can be fully present? Does it always work? Because I get it too. Y'all think, and it's like, I feel like you think I'm on social media a lot of times, but a lot of times when I'm on social media, it's for the benefit of the business. It's for the benefit of the podcast. It's for the benefit. Like, I'm not just really browsing on there for pleasure. Like, I don't watch,
because I don't even like people.
I don't watch Facebook videos.
But when we're in that, when there's an opportunity for, okay, the kid is gone to bed and there's an opportunity for us to have conversation, talk about our day or whatever, and you're on your phone and I'm sitting staring at you.
But you gotta say, babe,
you looking at me.
Hey, babe. Hey, what's up?
But I have. Don't look at me like that.
This is gonna be. You know what? This is gonna be real good for somebody because like we're joking about all this stuff, but
it's real.
It's real, and I feel like not a lot of people like talk about it. Like they just. It's kind of like you know what I'm saying? Like you just like, oh, this is only happening at my house. This ain't happening over there. They don't nobody else get my struggle. First of all, Negro. You a man, but like no, like that's real because you do it half the time. I don't go in the room because she be on the phone watching Grey's Anatomy. One, I don't care for Grey's Anatomy, and then two, I'm like, you on your phone? I'm like, oh, baby's asleep. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? What you doing? What you doing? And she's like,
what?
So what do we do?
So I think this whole thing started with her saying, we got to have communication, right?
I'm always communicating. We're not talking about sex no more?
No.
It's like, because I'm always communicating.
I communicate those things well.
I'm always communicating.
But
what you doing?
But I think sometimes you said something that kind of triggered some other thoughts that we've had in our marriage counseling and marriage groups. It's like, I can't read your mind. I can't read your mind, and I'm not. I'm not. I'll do my best to see what's going on and try to be engaged. But if you're not feeling a certain way, a look doesn't work for me because it doesn't. Like
that look does a lot.
I'm not gonna notice the look. I'm not gonna notice. But and for me, when we're talking about communication, if you're upset, I've been in upset households and what that feels like. And so for me, you call it trauma, call it whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to walk into a minefield just to get blown up. I'm not going to do that. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been through it. Not it. I'll wait until you calm down. I'll wait until, and she'll tell you, she'll be like, you don't talk to, no, I'm not, because you already feel a certain way. You already have a certain mindset of what you're thinking. Now, if we want to come back to the subject and come back and talk about it, which I will honestly say, I can't ignore it and not bring it back up, which I ignore it. And then for me, life just keeps going on because I'm a happy person. I try to just move on from my situation. You can ask her. I'll wake up the next morning. Hey, baby, how you doing? Love you. Give me a kiss. And she looking at me like,
because we need to talk about.
But I can't read the mind. I can't read how you feeling. So I need help with that. I need help with, communicating in those fields, in those like conflict. I don't like conflict. Why? I lived in a minefield full of conflict already. Yeah. So I don't want to put myself in situations that reminds me of something that I don't want.
Well, no. What you laughing at, Kev?
Nothing, you.
Oh, I was 19 crimes. California red. No, but what I was saying, you were like, yo, you don't like to go to, like, you'll go to sleep and you'll wake up and you'll just be fine. And I'm just like that. Sometimes, like, you're talking about reading the room and being aware. Well, part of it is me being aware that if we just don't tell, like, I know you're mad, you over there huffing and puffing, you over there like moving things abruptly. I know in 2 hours you're gonna forget about this. Because you'll be fine and you'll just keep going about your day because you ain't never bringing it back up. We've been married almost 4 years. Yeah, I do it all the time. It seems like every week you get mad. I know. I give you an hour and a half, and you good.
I gotta pick my battles,
and you never bring it back up.
I gotta until it comes back up again, and then the whole cycle.
Why?
I have some. Thank you.
So Erica, how do you deal with it? Like, are you just like, you know what? I'm mad. He's not going to talk to me about it. So when it comes back up, I'll talk about it. Or and you said you pick your battle. So maybe this one is not something that I really want to waste my battle coin on. Like, so what's your whole thought process with it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, like you said, comes from my childhood. I never wanted to be the troublemaker. Ever. And that still stands true in our marriage and with parenting. Like, I don't want to make anybody mad. Mm-hmm. And so I will shove stuff down until I get really upset about it. And then, like you said, I'm slamming stuff around. And it's usually not bad, but like you can tell I'm mad. Mm-hmm. But it has to happen a lot for me to really get mad and to bring it up because I don't want to rock the boat.
Because you're a people pleaser.
At
home, at work, at everywhere, she's a people pleaser. That's why she ends up working until 11 p.m. because she's like, oh, they didn't have these reports. Man, John, Brian, and Dave can wait until, are those real people? I don't know. Anyways.
The last year was stressful. I'm in the hospitality industry. It's been a rough year. I had some late nights. But I am a people pleaser, and I will try to work things out for myself and like get myself in line and do whatever I think is necessary to remedy the situation, whether it be with parenting, with work, with our marriage, whatever it is. That's how I operate. Like, I'm like, what can I do to get my ducks in a row? And then if that's not working, I bring it up. Or it happens that I get mad enough and I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Why don't you just bring it up first?
That's just not the way I'm wired.
And see, here's the problem, is that I don't have a problem with bringing it up. And my problem is that I'm not tactful. Like, I'm just like, let's just rip this Band-Aid off. And like, let's just get it out there. I'm going to say it wrong. I'm going to say what's wrong. Like, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. And I might say it wrong when I'm saying it. But once I get it out, then we can deal with it. Be like, oh, I didn't mean to say it that way. This is what I meant.
And then my feelings get hurt.
We need to toughen up. You didn't know me.
I don't want to toughen
You've been knowing me since 2006. This is 2021. It's 15 years. I ain't changed.
We're very much opposite. Opposites.
I've been me.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I don't know how you deal with that. How y'all deal with that? Because, or can y'all give us some advice?
I'm a great paper communicator. So,
like text messaging.
If it's tough enough, I will text my butt off. Like, if it's something that I feel like I need to address, because I know for me, I can't get my thoughts and stuff together in person. And you put me on the spot, I'm just like, but if I have time to think about it, if I have time to really, because I think of some of my toughest situations, it's been long text messages, better communication, because now she can really hear my heart and not just me trying to cover up whatever the situation is. So for me, also we have to figure out what are our communication styles. Like what communication style works best for you. So when you're saying talking it out, for some people, vocally talking it out works well. But for somebody like me, I got 1,001 thoughts going on at one time, I really need to write it out, look at it, double check. And so I think if we're in tough situations or we dealing with stuff, you have to like figure out what your communication style is.
Yeah. Dalena, you've been quiet for a while.
We're both that way. We both communicate better writing our thoughts down than saying them. One, because like he said, we've had time to reflect and say, and we're better able to write out. I can write it out, or I can type it, and I can delete, and I can really say what I want to say.
Yeah.
And not miss anything, and not be thinking later, oh shoot, I should have said this, But like Kev said, it's figuring out how to best communicate with each other. And sometimes it is him sending a text message and it'll be, can we talk about this later? And so then even then, I still have an opportunity to get my thoughts together, and so does he. And then we can have a civil conversation. Yeah, a level-headed conversation where we're not.
That's like, to me, that's like getting a whooping. Your mama saying, "Oh, you're gonna get a whooping when you get home."
Well, your daddy is home.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, I got all day to think about it, because my mind, and that's great that y'all know each other's communication styles. But for me, all day I'm thinking about what is gonna go which way. Like what is gonna happen? How are you gonna respond to this? So I'm already thinking of my response. I'm like, oh, she's gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Oh, and then she starts doing this. I'm gonna do this. But if not, then I'm gonna just stay cool and I'm gonna just talk and we're gonna be fine. And that is lit. Like I'm just running through that all day. And so, yeah.
You be preparing for the battle.
So like, I don't think it's any hidden thing that I'm petty. And so sometimes if you catch me off guard, I'm really, because we just had this conversation. We just had this in our marriage group, our home group at our church. And they were like, yo, like, do you say everything that comes to your mind? I was like, if I said everything that comes to my mind, I was like, I'd be divorced, because I be thinking some off the wall stuff. And I'm like, I'm witty and I'm quick, and like I've developed that over the years, and I know I got a sharp tongue, and so I be like, you'll say something, and in my head I'm just like, when I'm like, that's the spirit.
And sometimes you can tell. I'm like, what were you gonna say?
That's the Lord.
What was that?
That's the Lord keeping you married. But no, that's good, because I don't think everybody recognizes that, like, the best way to communicate. How do you like to communicate?
I like to think about things. Because again, I don't like to rock the boat. I really don't. And so I want to process what I'm gonna say and think about the situation and what I really want out of it before I really vocalize and have a conversation about it. Writing it down might be a good idea. I feel like writing it out like in a journal kind of way, not like text communication, but just so I could gather my thoughts. I haven't tried that.
Like an old school journal, like we write notes. You know what we should get? We should get a chalkboard for the room. And if you just like upset, you write like why you're upset.
Uh-oh.
It sounded like that was gonna be a list, not just one topic.
I'm gonna come home and it's gonna be 3 chalkboards.
Take a whole wall and paint it in that chalkboard.
But I think
size 8 font.
Right. But what you're saying is important. What we're saying is, I think, is really important. Like, we have to learn each other's communication style. Like, early on in our relationship, I realized, bro, if you would let her, you would have to argue her down. She's ready for a good argument. And so I knew that. And you can ask her. I was like,
No, I saw the face.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You're not lying.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to, because I know for me, arguing doesn't get me anywhere. But frustrated, mad, and I really don't want to have to deal with it. Does it make sense? Yeah. So I too, knowing who she is as an individual, I try not to jump on those buttons on purpose, if that makes sense. I do my best. You know, they say happy wife, happy life.
Happy spouse, happy house. Dad's got to be happy too.
You're right.
It's true.
You're right.
You know what makes me happy?
Oh goodness.
You're right. Look.
Not that episode.
Oh.
But for me, so I used to learn. I did my best to learn who she is and learn what triggers her and learn. But for the most part, I think I got it right.
Yeah.
How long does that take you? Well, I mean, yeah. I say how long did that take you, but it's not a matter. I don't think it's a matter of time. I think it's a matter of intentionality. Is that the word? I've been drinking.
If it's not, it is now.
Okay, that's fine. But I think it's a matter of being intentional and like trying to figure out your spouse and putting that into play. That's all I got.
I think Josh needs to stop drinking.
I haven't even had that much. And you know what it is? Like, it's hot in here.
It is.
I have the AC off because I want the background noise. And so it's getting to me. And I got jeans on.
I got in trouble once for turning it on, and y'all were in here talking. I got a text message. Why did you turn the AC on? I don't know which one it was.
It was the heater.
It was the heater.
It was probably cold.
Yeah. Anyway.
It was probably cold.
But you can't turn it on right now.
So I got a question, ladies. Because I heard some of the what you need from us. How do you feel when your husband is telling you stop working? Like, come home without the work. Like, you work 8 hours all day. Like, when are you gonna like?
Yeah,
we won't. That one.
Ask that question.
I wouldn't have to check the temperature in the room because you're working again.
Yeah,
work.
You're not supposed to ask that question.
That's
because you still working at your second job, so you're not supposed to ask that question.
No, but I don't bring work home. I don't bring work home.
Oh, you're talking about working.
I don't work additional because to me, it takes away from the family time. It takes away from even just your personal. Take care of you. I don't care. You can come and do anything but that. So help us help you with that.
Dalena, you want to go first?
Sure. Because this has been, I used to get very, very upset when he would tell me to stop working because it's my job and I need to get my work done and I'm at least coming home so I can be in the
present, quote unquote.
Be present, yes. However, I think my attitude and my thinking and my actions have shifted in the past few years. Yes? Okay. Just being more intentional about not bringing work home. And most of the time, if I do bring work home, I don't even take it out of my bag because one, I know how he feels about it. And I'm tired of hearing him fuss at me about it, number one. And number two, I do need to be more present. I found that I needed to be more present, especially with Kendall and her work and what she has going on. It took me a while to get there though, because when you are trying to make moves in your career, at that point I was trying to set myself up so that I could advance in my career. So
and I get that. Working. And I got that. I did. I knew when she needed to grind, right? And so what I did, being intentional. I know when it's a good season, when it's off season, but when it's off season, take the season, take it off. Like, why are we pushing through and grinding when we have a 12-year-old or a child in our home where we want those moments? You know what I mean? So I too had to be intentional about, okay, what is this, testing season? Oh yeah, she'll be there to 8, 9 o'clock. You know, but any other time when there's nothing that's pressing, when you're just working just because you're a workaholic,
I am.
you know, I need you to cut that off. I need you to cut it off. How about you guys? How are you trying to handle it? Because I know, as Josh has iterated by.
Listen. I don't like to work, first off. So let's just get that off the rip. So I'm thankful for the clients that I do have, and I would like you to keep paying me.
Well, I think part of it is that our work requires different things of us. Like you said, like he doesn't have to work all day long. He really doesn't. Whenever we started dating, I was like, why are you messaging me so much during the day? I'm working.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Like, I'm on phone calls all day long, every single day. He takes freaking naps all the time. And so I think that's part of the like disconnect there. But also a good portion of our marriage has been, I mean, with the last year and a half, right? Like, it's been crazy. And my industry especially has been rocked by it. And I had to work from home, and I took on more responsibility because of the pandemic, and that caused me to have to work late 4 or 5 nights a week for months while we had a baby and a toddler. And I felt that it took a toll on our marriage. I could feel it. I know he felt it. There's definitely, we're still like coming back from it. Like, there's still nights that I have to work, and it's getting less and less, but it's been a challenge for sure over the last year and a half. Before that, I would say I didn't really bring too much work home. I mean, there's the occasional, like, I've got to do a few things here and there, and there's a few things in the work to try to lighten that load. Now that kind of normality is settling back in. And I've had some conversations with my boss about that and what it looks like.
I think, though, like it's not all your fault.
Yeah.
Like, me being upset because, and I feel like Kev is the same way because of what I know, what you really want to do. I know what your passion is. I don't like corporate America. I despise corporate America. I think corporate America sucks entirely too much time away from our families.
I don't disagree.
I have no interest in going. And so I don't respect the grind for corporations like that. And so for me, it's like, why are you working for this company? Like, piss off. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, we can do something else that we can make money doing. And you don't have to, like, yeah, we probably gonna have to grind a little bit, but the hotel industry is not going anywhere. It's always going to be like this. There's always going to be, what you got? Forecasting season. You're going to have forecasting season. Budget season. You're always going to have, like, it's always going to be like these numbers, things change and people want these things. Like, it's always going to be that way. It's not going to change. And so I'm like, yo, let's grind for something else. And so for me, I just lucked out in where I am in my company because I have a sweet setup and nobody else has the setup that I have. And the Lord's blessed me. And so what I'm learning is that I used to get mad because I'm like, yo, I got this free time. You should be having this free time. We should be spending free time together. And with this season that I'm in right now is like really owning like the fact that like, yo, okay, the Lord's giving me this free time for a reason. Like, yeah, I can still take naps. Cool. But you can also do the laundry so your wife doesn't have to do the laundry. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, now we got this, like, now we got the pool. So it's like, okay, now I can go clean the pool. I can go take care of that. I can go, you know what I'm saying? Like I have free time, and there's reasons why he's giving me free time. And I used to get upset at having my free time. I would have anxiety, like, yo, I should be doing something. I should be grinding. And then I was like, first of all, I don't like grinding. Like, I have no interest in it.
It's like California.
Call it what you will, but I'm just like, I don't like the grinding mentality of life or whatever we're in right now. But I like the benefits of it. And so I did grind for a couple years, and the Lord's blessed me. And now I'm set up to where we do have, there's no guarantees in my industry, but we have consistent revenue coming in. And so now I'm like, okay, I can go do this. I can go, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me go clean this up, because that's something that you might do. That might be one of her chores. I can start dinner. I don't do it often because that's not my thing. Don't let me cook pancakes.
Oh, Lord.
The already pre-made, like ready mixed ones where you just add water, I messed those up.
Sure did.
All the time.
Bro, you got to get on the homemade game like me. They won't even eat. They almost came off of donuts because of the pancakes. So I'm like,
Yeah, I'm off of donuts.
Praise God for you. Not my thing.
But Josh,
he's learning how to grill though.
But Josh, I think what you said is very important. And
I know.
one of the things that I realized when I look back in my career and her career was I knew what it was going to take for her to get what she wanted to get in her career. And I knew our goals for our kid. We didn't want to be in a situation where we had to call 50 million people to pick up our kid from school, take our kid to dance, take our kid here, take our kid there. And so my choice of work was not only my passion, but it was to free me up so that I can be the individual that did. And see, and that's part of the story that you guys don't see. That's part, right?
I do see it because we've had this conversation.
Huh?
I said I do see it because we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we've had this conversation, but I think a lot of people listening may not have heard those episodes where, you know, my grind was to take care of the house, to wash the laundry, cook the food, take care of like daycare. She was gone before Kendall was even up. So I had to take her to daycare. I had to pick her up from whoever picked her up from daycare and bring her home. So I did a lot of stuff that would benefit the household. And so in order for our family to be the way that we wanted it, I just had to pick up that slack on that end and did it with love. As she grew though, it does get, because you know what, when she started 6th grade, I was like, tag grid.
It's on me.
It's on you. You got to figure it out. But what people don't see, when she was in her master's class from 6 to 10 p.m., me and Kendall was at home by ourselves. You know, they don't see all of those other things that help create the love that we have now. It was unselfish. And so when you do build stuff like that and you are intentional about building a relationship and about giving space and time for you to grow, then you do get kind of like, man, do you know what we sacrificed just to get here? Stop bringing that work home. Like, do you know what we sacrificed to do certain, you know, to have the family that we have? And it might not be what everybody else's family look like, but we managed to keep our goals and our things in line for us. So I love that. So you definitely have to put in the work and do what's going to benefit each other. And one of the things I look in the career was I knew what she needed to do in order for her to get where she wants to be. Yeah. For me, I don't need to do that. I don't need to go back to college. I don't need my master's. But what I needed was space and time so that I can develop into the person which she has given. There's been times where I was like, yo, I got to go do a retreat. I'm gone for the weekend. You got to hold it down. And she did that. And sometimes it's been like, you know, y'all know me. I'm not a detailed person. Hey, tomorrow,
I gotta go to Lubbock.
That's all the time.
Like, you got Lubbock gas money? No.
But I think when we're focused on those goals, and goals as a, for your spouse and goals for the family. And I think sometimes, we learned that really early in our marriage. Like, I can't make her be an entrepreneur like me. I can't make her want to be and do the things that I want to do. And I got to see what it is that she's gifted in and what is it that she wants to accomplish, what it is that she wants to do, and get behind that and push that 100%. And then that allows her to get behind me and push me and to help me be the best that I can be. And then now we don't really have arguments about what you go do with your life or what. But when she sees that I'm lacking, when she sees like, dude, you're not functioning in your gift. You're not doing what you're called to do. She's able to pull me back up and pull me in so that we can get back on track so that I can be happy and bring that happiness back to the household.
I'm glad y'all don't have them arguments because we do.
But it has been a part of their marriage. Like that they've worked on it to get to that point.
Yeah, definitely.
We're still early.
Yeah, but she knew what she wanted to do.
Well.
But I think that's a process, right? This chick I told you, she got her degree in journalism. When we were dating, that's what she was doing. She was getting her degree in journalism. She was working part-time at children's courtyard
and
daycare, whatever you call it.
And I was
in the courtyard.
And watch this. And she was the nanny. So I was like, hey, have you ever thought about teaching? Does it make sense? And so she was like, no, I haven't thought about it, blah, blah, blah. She got a substitute position, a long-term substitute position, fell in love with it. And then that's when we got behind her being a teacher. Naturally, in her heart, she would have rather been a children's nurse, a child's nurse.
A pediatric nurse.
Yeah, that.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. But
you got there.
But what we were able to do, we was still able to find her passion and get behind her passion, if that makes sense. And so I think what's hard for a lot of couples is they don't know what they want to do. But at the end of the day, if you don't know what you want to do, I think we have to oblige each other and say, okay, let's figure it out together. I know you got. So I think this is the hard part because we had to battle this. I know you got work. I know you got these other things on your plate, but in order for us to get to a place where you're happy, you're going to have to give us something so we can work with it. If that makes sense. Like, you can't say you're unhappy. And we've had this conversation about other things, right? You can't tell me you want to lose weight, you mad, and you're not willing to do it. Look, she rolling her eyes because we had this conversation. Like, don't be mad at me or don't be mad at yourself if you're not willing to put in the work. You're not willing to do what it's going to take to help you reach that goal. And she'll ask you, she'll tell you, she'll be like, now she just don't even say nothing. She just
like, hey, we just gonna be fat and happy.
That's what we say. We just gonna be fat and happy.
But check this though, Kev. Check this though, because that what you're saying, it really has been a conversation in our household. I'm like, why don't you want anything? Because I have an entrepreneurial heart, entrepreneurial spirit. I told you I don't like corporate America. I'm like, I want to write my own ticket. And I'm like, why don't you want to write your own? You complain about your job, not your job, but the hours and the demandingness and the fast pace of it. And I'm like, what are you doing to change it? Like, let's build something after hours. But what I've realized, it's the same thing that not just you, but anybody else in my family. It's like nobody else is going to do what they need to do to get out of themselves. So I need to do it. And so that's kind of why I haven't harped as much. Like I didn't say some things, you know what I'm saying, every now and then, but I haven't really said as much because now we're starting to do, the real estate, things like that. And so like now there is a plan. I'm like, okay, cool. So I know by next year, I'm going to buy a property that's going to take away our mortgage. Cool. And then I'm like, okay, so then 3 years from now, this is what I'm going to do. And so the goal is to either get her out of working or to get me out of working. And because I know that she's not going to do it. She's not going to help herself. I mean, you just started with the little, you know what I'm saying, the whatchamacallit, let's hope that pop off. You know what I'm saying? But if it don't, that's fine because I'm still going to push it and to get us where we need to get so that you don't have to do what you're doing. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to be miserable. I don't know.
But I don't think I wouldn't say miserable. But maybe my question would be, how can we keep in the same industry but not work that hard? You know, or how can we? Because you could ask Dalena. I always ask her all the time. You know, you enjoy what you do and you're good at it. But how else can we increase your income? Because they're not going to pay you what you're worth, right? And so we look at things together, but at the end of the day, she has to make that move. I can't make that move for her because then that's added more work on my plate for me not to necessarily be in my passion, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I think that it would help, but you got to be, Erica, if you tired, you got to figure that out. But at the end of the day, I don't think coming home complaining about it is healthy either. Does that make sense? I don't think, and I never wanted us to be in a job where we weren't happy. You know, I never wanted to. There's been schools that she's been at, and I don't care what you do, you got to go. And I would show up, and when she see that look on my face, she was like, "All right, let's figure it out. Let's figure out something different." So it's gonna have to take the other person to realize, you know what, I really want change. It doesn't have to be a drastic. It could be a different company. It could be, you know, something in the same field, but just something totally different. And I just think that it takes time, bro. It really takes time for them to grasp the idea and to be willing and ready. But Erica, you can't come home complaining, homie.
Look, and on that note, we about to get out of here.
Of course.
So what about the elephant in the room?
What's that?
My championship belt?
What elephant?
I don't know. I really don't know.
We're not talking about that.
Oh, that elephant. Dalena, you got any final thoughts? Any last thing you want to say to dads out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how you get the grown man gifts. I don't know.
What?
What are you talking about?
This took a turn.
Babe, you want to tell the people how do we get the grown man gifts? That's gonna be your final thoughts.
I feel like it's more complicated. Like, that's a whole episode.
I'm gonna just come in there and I'm gonna start growling.
That's not how you do it.
You say you're gonna start growing.
That is not.
I'm gonna make all the animal noises. Dalena, no, but seriously, do you have final thoughts? Like, any advice for like husbands out there? Like, besides what we already talked about, being present, working on communication, those are two very, very good things. But what else?
I don't know. I have to think about that.
I was about to say, I know you like to write down your thoughts. Erica, what you got?
I think, Dalena kind of hit on it earlier. Like, just jump in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you see a need, jump in and do it. And that's been kind of a topic, especially over the last year, where he's like, if you need help, just ask for it. But I think as wives and as women, we just go from one thing to the next. And it's very nice when you can just jump in and help me out, and I don't have to direct yet another person on what to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If I ask you, what do you need help with? And you say, nothing, I got it. I'm going to go sit down.
I'm not talking about that.
Then what you talking about?
When you ask me, I usually tell you. If I really don't need help, I'm going to say nothing.
Then what you talking about?
When you see me up and doing a whole bunch of things.
Like what, cleaning? I'm just assuming it's Saturday. You want to clean.
Yeah, you can clean too.
I clean all week.
Just anytime.
Kat, why you muted yourself? You talking to Kimberly?
No reason.
that could go a long way to getting some of those grown man gifts.
Of what?
Just saying.
Let me what?
Jump in.
Jump in.
I'm trying to jump in.
You got anything, babe?
I think you just have to be present and be aware. I can't reiterate that enough. Just be aware of what's going on. And even though it may be in your personality, like you may be very literal. And if I say I don't need help, or you ask me and I say, no, I don't need help, just surprise me every now and again. Surprise your significant other every now and again and say, I know you say you don't need help, but let me take this off of your plate. Like that goes a long way. Why are you looking
a long
at me
way?
like that?
One of my wife's gifts is surprises.
Listen, know your spouse's love language. Because
But what if you don't like it?
What if you don't like it?
You have to do your best.
Listen,
You have to do your best.
I get hot when physical touch happens.
That's how you get the grown man gifts.
Look,
That's how you get the grown man's gifts.
Cuddling. You see all this hair that my face get into?
But really, we were sitting here talking. I put my hand on his leg, and he was like scooting me away.
No. She put her hand on my leg, and I said, "Your hand hot?" And she's like, "Yeah, it is."
He just scooted it back to my leg.
It's hot.
But I think we have to.
When I hold hands, my hands get sweaty and clammy.
Yeah.
But she's the same way. She doesn't like physical touch.
No, but she does.
She doesn't. I'm physical touch.
He is 100.
I didn't know I was till I got married. Honestly, I really didn't.
But that's cool.
I think it surprised him.
But I think we have to be intentional, you know? And even for me, I've learned how to say, hey, can I have a hug?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's not into physical touch. You know what I mean? So and some people might be like, why are you asking for your love language to be done? Because I know who my wife is. And I think sometimes with our love languages and the things that we want, we put way too much pressure on that other person when we can knock that off a little bit. Like I get you want me to just take something off your plate every once in a while, but when you've been doing it the whole time, it's kind of hard for me to know when. Like seriously, it is.
Whenever.
It's just kind of hard for me to know when. But don't let her lie to y'all. She don't cook every night. I'll be doing the cooking too.
He does cook. It's a shared responsibility.
I don't cook.
But I do all the laundry.
And I don't complain about it, do I? I don't be having no underwear, no socks, no. But I ain't gonna complain.
You don't need either one of those. Hold on, Kev. Do any of your underwears got holes in them? Are those your favorite underwear?
I got rid of them.
He throws them away.
Wow. I
gotta throw them out.
I get rid of them, bro.
Not lately. It's been a little bit, but I gotta throw them out sometimes.
Nah, I get rid of them. My problem is she gotta buy clothes. She has to force me to buy clothes because that's not my thing. So
and now we can't move on.
But I think that's one of the things that we've learned. That I've learned is that even though we have love languages, even though she has a certain way that she wants to be loved, even though I have a certain way that I want to be loved, sometimes I have to ask for it. I have to give hints about it. And I think that it does go a long way when she's able to say, hey, babe, this is what I need from you this week, or this is what I need today. And I might not do it at that moment, but it gets done. And then she's like, oh, surprise. It got done.
Hey, congratulations. But go ahead, Kev.
Oh, I was going to give my side of the final word. But
I wasn't going to give you a chance, but that's
I know you wouldn't. I know you
wouldn't.
wasn't.
I was about to
shut it down.
I just hit my
I do want to add this. Marriage, parenting, it doesn't take experience for people on the outside. It takes personal experience. And I think sometimes we get frustrated with what we're dealing with in our personal lives, and we go and talk to somebody else on the outside that really doesn't know the person, that doesn't know the situation, that doesn't know what your goals are. And that, to me, is what's the biggest hindrance to a lot of people in their marriages and a lot of people raising their kids. If you got an issue, if there's something that you don't like, find a way to communicate that to the person that you're parenting with, the person that you're living with. Like 13 years in, we've had some great families, we had some great marriages around us that was teaching us, like, we need to do life together. We need to do life together. Another bonus key is nobody comes before her. Kendall doesn't come before her. She's first. And I think sometimes in people's relationships, they try to put the kids above the parents. Kids can't go before the parents. It has to be about the spouses first, because if we're not good, she's not going to have a good experience. So we have to be good in order for her to be good. And so I think those are just some 2 nuggets. It takes time, it takes experience, and don't put your kids above your relationship. Deal with your relationship, deal with your kids separately. If you have 2 people that's strong, guess what? Your kids are going to turn out okay.
That's good.
That is. I like what you said, whether it's parenting in a marriage or outside of a marriage, like, you have to do that. You have to.
I like it. That's good. Can I close it out now? Pastor? Okay.
Yes.
First giving honor to God. No. But seriously. But seriously though, like, I thank y'all for coming on. Like, this was good. Like, you guys should, like, come back, but, like, you need to have your own camera.
You're welcome, by the way.
It's hot. Well, we also got 3 lights on in here and all this other stuff. And my wife is hot, so that's why I'm hot. So, yeah. Did I do that right? Anyways, no, but seriously, thank you guys so much. Yo, everybody in YouTube land, podcast land, y'all go like, subscribe to the podcast, leave us some comments. I don't see y'all running up the numbers anymore, so I'm gonna need y'all to get back to that. Create some dummy accounts, run it up again. Because we're trying to win out here. But until next week, y'all take care, man. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.